Well, listen, I'm a Manny Pacman Pacquiao fan, have been since about 2001. And what we saw tonight, we saw him cleanly, convincingly beat Timothy Bradley. And let's face it, Timothy Bradley is good, but realistically, Manny Pacquiao beat him three straight times. You know, Timothy Bradley is a top 5 welterweight, but he has his issues. For example, even though he knocked out Brandon Rios, a non stop it, stop it, stop it. That's the dog. I gave you some chips. Stop it. And now he's like licking up the chip residue. Brandon Rios, you can't really, how can I put it? I don't want to take away the credit of Timothy Bradley beating Brandon Rios, but it's Brandon Rios. Also, this was a Brandon Rios that dropped 20 to 30 pounds within a couple of weeks of the fight, as he said, if I'm correct, if you go look at Eli Sekback's interview with him. Timothy Bradley, you know, his punching power has always been stubborn. His punching power has always been suspect, you know. So tonight, what we saw, if you didn't watch the fight, you saw Timothy Bradley land some nice, solid, clean shots on Manny Pacquiao. Clean shots. But Pacquiao just was walking right through him. To Pacquiao's discredit is Pacquiao just still, even though he got the win, there's something missing. And I don't know if I can really say that it's the aggressiveness. I don't know it's the aggressiveness, layman terms, aggressiveness. I don't know if Pacquiao still has it. I don't know if he still has it. You know, something just seems to not be there. Now, the big question is, will Pacquiao fight again? He's 37 years old. He's supposed to be running for Senate in an election that I'm hearing maybe this win will help him. But I've been hearing, you know, and reading that he's likely not going to win over there in the Philippines. I'm not from the Philippines. I'm an American. Damn it. So I really don't know, the political situation in detail over there. For example, they probably wondering what the fuck is going on with Trump and Hillary Clinton over here, for crying out loud. Trump or Hillary Clinton is likely going to be our next president. Wow. But not to get into that, the point I'm trying to make is, if Pacquiao doesn't win the election over there in the Philippines, will he fight again? And the bigger question is, his promotional company and his manager, Michael Kuntz, however the hell you pronounce his name, and Bob Arum, will they not find a way to lure Pacquiao back into boxing? Now, the biggest fight for Pacquiao right now, of course, is a Mayweather rematch. But when you look at the fights that have been available for for Pacquiao in the Top Rank stable, because Top Rank right now does not do business with Al Haymon or Al Haymon fighters, you have to think, well, the other big fight for him is Terence Crawford. Will that be enough for Pacquiao to come back? And also, is that enough to be on pay-per-view? After all, they're talking about Terence Crawford versus Victor Postol being on pay-per-view. But with Pacquiao making 20 million, at least 20 million guaranteed that he made for Timothy Bradley, can he make that for Terence Crawford? There's so many questions. Now, I've said it time and time again, whether you like it or not, Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2 is still the second biggest fight of all time. Still. It's the only fight where Mayweather can make at least 50 million. Mayweather and his father has said that if Mayweather was to come back, it would have to be for a big money fight. Who can Mayweather fight in boxing? Not just the Al Haymon stable, but in boxing that can generate, Mayweather making 50 million to 70 to 100 million dollars. He can't fight Danny Garcia and make $50 million. He can't fight Keith Thurman and make $50 million. He can't fight Adrian Broner and make $50 million. He can't even fight Golovkin and make $50 million. The stars are just not aligned. Pacquiao will bring, for Mayweather, just like Mayweather will bring for Pacquiao, just enough for both those guys to make a good amount of money. But truth be told, the first fight was just such a bad and non-entertaining fight that people really don't want to see the rematch. People really don't want to see a rematch, but at the same time, I believe they will buy it. So I don't know. I'm going to read the comments. I've been on YouTube for such a long time. Today, the longest I've ever been on YouTube. I'm going to read the comments. No video. Why? Let's see here. Timothy Bradley, in my opinion, it's just that, the old saying goes, Pacquiao just has Timothy Bradley's number. He just has his number. Timothy Bradley just is missing something where he doesn't, how can I put it? He doesn't bring enough to the table to beat a Manny Pacquiao, his skill set, and not having the power, the punching power to keep Manny Pacquiao off of him. Pacquiao just was walking through his punches. He just was walking through. And now you have to ask, well, where does Timothy Bradley go from here? Timothy Bradley right now is looking likely to probably take that rematch, with Jesse Vargas, or move up to 154. Word on the curb is that 147 is not too healthy for Timothy Bradley at this point in time in his career. And you've seen the photos. It's a well-known fact that Timothy Bradley, in between fights, blows up 20 to 30, maybe, 40 plus pounds. So, maybe 154 pounds is the healthy weight division for Timothy Bradley, but he's fucking 5'6". He's 5'6". Yeah, I understand he's too short. Timothy Bradley is too short for 154 pounds. But his body, maybe 154 pounds. Just like I feel with Sean Porter eventually in the future, would have to go to 154 pounds. Sean Porter, I was surprised that he was just so, like healthy, and beat Adrian Broner so comfortably when he weighed 144 for the Broner fight. Pac versus Carol Brook. I got Manny Pacquiao. Carol Brook just hasn't done anything, man. You know, he got the Sean Porter win against a good Sean Porter, okay, but then Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, he hasn't fought a mobile. Carol Brook hasn't fought a mobile, agile, multi-punch throwing fighter. You know, no, I'm sorry. I got Manny Pacquiao. I had to fight 115, 112 for Pacquiao. Okay, good score. You know, at the best, I had it 10 rounds to 2 for Timothy Bradley. You know, Timothy Bradley it wasn't any rounds where he just did enough. You know, there was certain times in the fight where I felt, well, Manny Pacquiao, why won't he just go for the kill? You know, why won't he just go try to knock Timothy Bradley out? That's why I say the aggressiveness and the killer instinct is just not there anymore. You know, it's just not there. Maybe it's time for Pacquiao to retire. Maybe it's time for him to hang it up. But I already did 4.5 hours on YouTube earlier, you know, so I'm not going to be doing the 4-hour hangouts. I'm sorry, I'm tired as hell. I'm still hungry, you know. Maybe I can go get some Taco Bell or something. Jeez, I'm dying. But anyway, Pacquiao versus Canelo. Max Kellerman and HBO, they threw that around. I don't see it happening. Canelo, you know, Pacquiao weighed in 145 pounds this fight. You know, the most Pacquiao will probably weigh coming into the ring against Canelo would be 150. And Canelo like 168 to 172, some shit like that. I just don't see it happening. And what weight would it be at? It would have to be a catch weight below 155 pounds. I just don't see it. I don't like to entertain, you know, like fights that I just don't see, you know, possibly happen. I don't want to talk about fights that possibly, you know, can't happen. Because when it comes to negotiations, what weight would, especially with Freddie Roach, the catchweight king, what weight would the fight be at? What weight would it be at? Come on. We're better than that. Now, maybe, you know, they can, if Amir Khan beats Canelo, Amir Khan moves back down to 147. Maybe, you know, Manny Pacquiao can come back to fight Amir Khan. Maybe. 7 a.m. in London. Peace out. I know, man. It's late, man. It's late. Well, for over you guys, it's early. Maybe Canelo versus Bradley. Nah. Garcia versus Pacquiao so Danny can shut the fuck up. Yeah, you know what? I got Pacquiao beating Danny Garcia. This Pacquiao, this non-aggressiveness Pacquiao would beat Danny Garcia, in my opinion. But Danny Garcia got some punching power behind him. You know, who knows? Watch it in slow-mo. No, I'm done with the whole watching fights in slow-mo. I'm done with all that. I'm done with all that nonsense. But like I said, I'm not going to be on here for, you know, too much longer. Ramirez versus Caleb Smith. Gotta say it's a 50-50 fight. But if I was to go with a fighter, if I was to pick a fighter, I would pick Caleb Smith. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, where Gilberto Ramirez goes from here. Well, his mandatory is just Jesse Hart. But it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how Top Rank and Bob Arum build that fight up, especially since Jesse Hart's last fight in Philly, he didn't look so good against a journeyman. Broner beats Danny Garcia? No, I don't think so. Bradley versus Crawford. Honestly, I got Terence Crawford. Honestly, you know, as I predicted, and I'm not just the only one. Timothy Bradley hasn't really looked too different, like with Teddy Atlas. You know, he hasn't really looked too different. Pacman versus Kirkland. Where y'all getting these fights from? Well, like, do you follow boxing? Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired of shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I started a stream, you know, about 6-7 hours ago, and I've been on YouTube ever since, watching fights and shit. Tired. What about Terence Crawford and Manny? I see it happening, but I don't think the fight makes any money. I don't think the fight makes any money. And the reason why I say it don't make any, the reason why I bring that up is because at this point in time, HBO is playing like promoter, you know, and they're going to be like, we don't want that fight because we, you know, it's a shame. I want to see the fight. I would have rather have seen Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao than Timothy Bradley. But, you know, they openly said the reason why they picked Timothy Bradley is because Timothy Bradley is more marketable. It's fucked up that, you know, like now the networks, or as far as HBO is concerned, they decide what fights they want to show or not. Yeah, I got like got 6 Jordan hats, and I got a lot of hats. A lot of them I don't even wear on camera. But yeah. Rod Soka is #1 pound for pound. Fuck out of here. Hey, yo, T Street got better Jordan gear than Andre Ward. No, not really. Not really. Andre Ward got, like, no, he's sponsored by Jordan, you know. I wish I was. But yeah, I've been buying a lot of Jordan hats lately. A lot of them. They're like dusty and shit. Hold on for a minute. Yeah. A lot of these old though. We got this one. This one's kind of dusty. I don't even wear this one anymore. This one kind of like look ill. It's all dusty. Then we got this one. I got 2 of these. 2 of these. And then we got the snapback. But no, man, tired. I'm tired. But you know, since we're here, we might as well talk about let me see. Get the old school Jordan haircut with the Jumpman logo back in the 90s. Whatever. Man, we don't want to see us talk about boxing. I know you don't want to see my hats. Yo, relax, man. I just did a fucking 5-hour video earlier. Y'all motherfuckers, man. Y'all don't y'all not appreciative. You're not appreciative of the time I put in here. Anyway, what you want to talk about? What you want to talk about? Let's talk about like I said, if Manny Pacquiao was to come back, the only reason I feel he should come back is to fight Floyd Mayweather. I mean, if he comes back to fight Terence Crawford, you know, that would be awesome as well. But if it's not Terence Crawford, or if it's not Floyd Mayweather, or Keith Thurman, or Sean Porter, or Marcos Maidana, or Danny Garcia, I don't want to see it. You know, or Marquez 5, I don't want to see it. You know, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao fight no Timothy Bradley 4. I don't want to see no Manny Pacquiao fight no Brandon Rios 2. I don't want to see him fight no Chris Algieri 2. I don't want to see him fight no fucking Ruslan Provodnikov. I don't want to see him fight no Yurkis Gamboa. I want to see him fight no fucking Mikey Garcia. I don't want to see him fight no Adrian Broner. No. Pacman versus Amir Khan. Okay, yeah, that will work. That will work. That will work. That will work. What other questions you got for me? How about Golovkin versus Dominic Wade? Dominic Wade seems to be pretty confident. You know, he doesn't seem to be afraid, you know, of Golovkin or afraid of the spotlight. But then again, look at Charles Martin. He didn't seem afraid of the spotlight when it came to Anthony Joshua. Look, he got knocked out in the 2nd round. You know, damn near broke his shoulder. T Street's barber versus his hairline. Yo, yo, don't fuck around. Yo, listen. Male pattern baldness is a disease. All right. Would you make fun of a fucking person with polio? You ain't right, bro. It's a disease. It's a curse. Yeah, I used to box. There's actually a video of me sparring out there in 2012 where I got my nose broke. Well, not my nose, but basically my nose wasn't broke, but like I'm a little dark for you to see, but I got a slit like right on the bridge of my nose. I got punched dead in the fucking face. Shit was leaking. But yeah. 200. I was under 200. Yeah, I still drink like once every couple of months or so. You know, I really don't have the, like when I was like, you know, I can't say when I was younger, about 3 years ago, like when I was drinking like heavy, getting drunk on YouTube. I really used to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get some drinks, but now the drinks don't really call me, man. The drinks don't really call me. Don't get me wrong. I be wanting drinks. I be wanting drinks all the time. But at the same time, I'd be like, nah, you know, like I guess because I'm getting older, like it just don't call me. Nah, I don't smoke. I used to when I was younger, not cigarettes, but you know, I used to get high on pot. But like I said, like what are we going to talk about? We're supposed to be talking about boxing. It's late as fuck. I ain't been on Google Hangout in God knows how long. Why is it not letting people join? Why is it not? I don't know why it's not letting people join. Let me try to fix this shit real quick. Put on some more Phil Collins. Yes, I do love pussy. Yes, I do. Manny Pacquiao does too. Manny Pacquiao does not like the homosexual community. You know, he don't like them. He just don't like them. I mean, that's his right. You know, this is right. If you don't, if you don't like him, truth be told, it's not that I don't like him. I don't want to get in trouble. So let me just stop talking about it. But it's just like, well, why not a woman's butt? You know? Why not a woman's butt? Women's got butts. But anyway, like Manny Pacquiao, like I heard a lot of stories about him, man. Like during his center days, like Pacquiao used to be a dirty. Oh, he used to be a dirty center, man. Him and Boo Boy, they used to do some fucked up shit. Like Pacquiao used to be partying, and I can tell you some stories, man. I can tell you, I got a lot of Filipino friends that I've made over the years, and some of them very close to the Pacman. And they told me some shit. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Pacquiao. They'd be like, yeah, man, Pacquiao be fucking bitches getting money. They'd be like, yeah, Pacquiao good and Boo Boy, what? I heard Boo Boy will smack the shit out you. Like, Boo Boy don't fuck around. Boo Boy don't fuck around. Anyway, Pacquiao cool though. He like to thank everybody for coming out to my fight tonight. Talk to my promoter. I don't know why it's not letting you guys in, honestly. And as I said, let me talk about the future. Now listen, people have been really like, I read all the comments, even if I'm not on YouTube or I'm not on like social media. I read all the comments. People pissed off. They're like, T-Street, you're not doing no videos. You're not consistent. And, what happened to this and what happened to that and all that. Listen. I've been working on something. I had a fucked up 2015. One of the worst 2015s that anybody can never have in the history of man. I'm working on some shit. I'm at the end of having all that shit taken care of so I can cover boxing. You know? Because until that shit was taken care of, there's no moving forward. Got a website launching. Well, working on it. It's meanie.com. And it's not gonna be just a website just to have a website. It's gonna be something that you visit for a reason. You know? Also, getting back to fights. Me and my team, but we're gonna do it. Listen. I've made a lot of connections, and I got a lot of shit going on. So just please bear with me. So I'm gonna say about maybe the week of or the week after Canelo versus Khan is when I'll be back full steam again, like doing videos, like like I used to, comfortably happy, taking a few drinks during the video, like I'm close. I'm close. So just let me do my shit right now. Let me be cool. Doing my videos whenever I have the time, looking at houses and everything like that, whenever I have the time. And then we're going to get back to the way things were. And we're going to do more Google Hangouts like this. Hell, even during fights. Boxing is not dying, but boxing is slowing down a bit with the fact that Mayweather's pretty much out the door, Pacquiao's pretty much out the door. Premier Boxing Champions hasn't been really getting the promotional push that they need as far as their boxers are concerned. For example, when it comes to potentially a pay-per-view fighter, a fighter that people will pay to see, at home, the closest they have is Manny Garcia, And then you got guys like Keith Thurman, who's, when it comes to like social media and everything, and like a presence or building a presence for, his financial future is pretty much non-existent. We've been hearing from Sean Porter and Kenny Porter about what's been going on why the fight has or has not been happening. And Keith Thurman has been pretty quiet. But the thing is, other YouTubes are taking your subs and your views. It's not a race. It's not a race. You think I don't know what's going on? I know that everything is, slow. But I know exactly what's going on. So it's not like I'm in a situation like, oh no, I got to get this sub and all that type of stuff. It's not a race. For example, I've noticed that, truth be told, there's not really people. There's only really a handful of people that do the videos like me, as far as doing these videos where you see the person and not images across the screen and like the radio format. So it's kind of different. And also make sure that like when I do videos, I'm not going to do videos on every time a person take a shit. I'm going to make sure, like, when I do videos, I'm doing videos on like actual news on like the landscape of a fight. I talk about like, okay, well, if this fighter is going to fight, then they'll probably fight this person or maybe this person, and they're going on this path and such and such and such and such. So like what I do differently than what other channels do is my videos are me personally here as a person, not me sitting there recording my voice and putting these images and all that kind of stuff behind it. It's totally different. So I'm reading the chat. It's kind of going by a little too fast. I can't really keep up. But as I was saying, like when it comes to like the biggest thing I'm doing wrong right now, in my opinion, is I'm not doing enough videos, like I used to. And with what I have planned for the future, for the long term, I've been learning and studying and making the proper connections to make sure that if not now, even if it's 2, 3, 5 years down the line, that I'm a sustainable, or what I do is a sustainable entity that it can keep going and going and going. So it's not all about the now. It's not all about the now. People look at the now and not, look at the advancements that have been made over the last, 2 years or so. So we'll leave it at that. But anyway, Pacquiao Fury at catchweight 240. What are y'all talking about, man? What are y'all talking about? But anyway, what do you want to talk about? I'm going to be here for another 15 minutes or so. I got to walk my dog before he shits on something. Can you guys believe Canelo was fighting fucking Amir Khan? Amir Khan, yes. It's an issue because, see, listen, as I said in the previous video, what does Canelo fighting Amir Khan prove to anybody? What does it do? Canelo fighting a smaller fighter, does that make you think like, okay, well, he's going to fight Golovkin next if Golovkin beats Wade? Like, does that make you think that? Because you would think that if Canelo was going to fight Golovkin next, maybe he would fight a full 160-pounder, or maybe a guy like a 158-pound or some old bullshit catchweight like that. Now, me personally, I've said, that I feel that Amir Khan has a very, very good chance to win this fight. It all depends on his chin, because, see, a lot of people who are picking Canelo to win, they're thinking, oh, he's just going to knock Amir Khan out. But what if he can't? I know he can, but what if he can't? What if he doesn't succeed? What if somehow Amir Khan's chin, or his defense becomes better? You just don't know. You just don't know. What are your thoughts on Mikey Garcia coming back from all the bullshit from Top Rank? Well, now it's all about where Mikey Garcia is going to go. Will he sign with Mayweather Promotions? Will he sign with Al Heyman, which a lot of people think? Or will he sign with, another, B-level, A-level promoter? A lot of people think he's going to sign with Al Heyman, but does Al Heyman have the money to sign up a fighter like Mikey Garcia at this point in time? Now, of course, he has the money, but do they have the money to spend? Do they have the money to spend at this point in time? So, you don't know. Also, what division is Mikey Garcia going to fight at? I believe that if Mikey Garcia, well, when he returns, he's likely going to fight probably his first maybe 1 or 2 fights, low-level fights against guys that are probably in a 141, 142-pound area, before he, finally settles in at 140 pounds. That's just what I believe, my personal opinion. Mikey Garcia could sign with Golden Boy Promotions, and also that is true that Rock Nation could throw a lot of money at him. Rock Nation will spend a lot of money, but the thing about Rock Nation is, can they get fights for Mikey Garcia with their promotional reputation, which is pretty low? Mikey going to TMT. See, the thing about TMT is, in my opinion, from what I know, Mayweather Promotions, the money team is Al Heyman. So it's like, if he signs with Mayweather Promotions, it's like, you sign up with Al Heyman anyway. You sign up with Al Heyman anyway. What are you guys saying? Who's next for Errol Spence? He's fighting Chris Algieri, and then he's the mandatory for Kell Brook. Kell Brook has to fight. Well, Kell Brook's going to fight in June, likely, from what they're saying. And Well, since it's April now, he might not fight in June. He might fight later than that. And then after that, he has to fight Errol Spence. Al Heyman is our generation Don King. No, because Al Heyman is not robbing fighters. So, no, I can't say that. Al Heyman actually pays his fighters it's hard to say too well. You can't say too well. I'm not going to say too well. But Al Heyman does pay his fighters more than fighters ever made before. So, yeah, that's a better way to put it. Chris Algieri seems to be in a fragile state in condition, man. Not really. He seems pretty confident and focused and in the best shape of his career, in my personal opinion. And also, even though he didn't look quite as good against Eric Bonet, he looked great against Amir Khan. HBO hates Al Heyman. I don't know about that. I don't know about hate. I don't know about hate. So what do you want to talk about? We got 10 minutes left. I'm out of here, man. Pacquiao versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 23. Tisha, do you think AB can beat Adrian Broner? Adrian Broner has his punch output is too low. His punch output is too low. And he just doesn't have the foot movement to be able to cut off the ring against Manny Pacquiao. I just don't think it. Well, Jim Lampley hates Al Heyman. Yeah, Jim Lampley seemed to have some beef with Al Heyman. Do you think Walter going to be off HBO after he ducked Loma? Likely, because what other fights can HBO get for Nicholas Walters? What other fights can they get for him? Do you? Let's see. Will HBO make a comeback after years of getting their ass kicked by Showtime? Well, HBO was pretty good in 2015 over Showtime, and in 2014 over Showtime. It was 2013 where Showtime had that really good year. You know, so I don't know, but the HBO boxing cuts and, you know, the change of personnel is a pretty big concern. You know, but that's a whole video within itself. T-Street, who should Roman fight after the McWilliams fight? Good question. But then again, wait a minute. Oh, you talking about Chocolatito? That's great. I thought you were talking about Roman Martinez. How do you describe this? Are you going to watch the Duran movie? Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, I have to watch all boxing movies, even though I may not enjoy them. You know, I got to watch all of them. Terence Crawford versus Jose Benavidez Jr. That'd be a good fight. I actually got an interview on this channel, you know, with Jose Benavidez from one of my colleagues, Jason Gonzalez, where he was saying that he wants the Terence Crawford fight. I didn't like Creed too much, honestly. It was good. It was a good, okay movie, but I didn't like Creed too much. Glad Pacquiao won, but please not as senator. Austin Trout versus Canelo. I don't want to see that again. Is this how you guys are going to waste your last 6 minutes asking me dumbass questions? Terence Crawford versus Robert Easter. I'm going to say Terence Crawford. Robert Easter hasn't done shit yet. You know, he looks good, but he hasn't really shown us really anything yet about bottles. Great Wine High. T-Street, do you think Manny can beat Danny Garcia? Yes, I do. Which is a bigger chance to become Fighter of the Year? Provodnikov, Molina, or Vargas Salido? Vargas Salido, I'm going to say. Canelo can't knock out anyone except Kirkland. Okay, serious question. What's your question? I'm not going to keep answering these Danny Garcia Pacman questions. I've already answered it. I got Pacquiao. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm definitely not answering that bullshit. Come on, man. Keep it boxing. Kell Brook next fight has to be a big fight. Who is it going to be? I'm thinking it could be Danny Garcia. I want it to be Danny Garcia. It has to be a big fight. Vape Nation. Is Pacman really retired? I really don't think so. Do you think Gigi is overrated since she just fights C-level fighters? I don't remember, like the Golovkin situation, he fights fighters that he's able to fight. It's not his fault all the time that he has to fight guys like Dominic Wade when the IBF forces it, you know? There's a lot of fighters that don't want to fight him. So it's like, how can I say, oh, it's his fault, you know, that that he can't fight Canelo or he can't fight Billy Joe Saunders. He wants to be a unified, undisputed champion in his division, and the other two guys that have belts in that division don't want to fight him. They say they don't want to fight him yet, but it looks like they don't want to fight him at all. Is Chavez Jr. done? No, he is not done. He is injured, and likely when he comes back, somehow the WBC is going to make him a #1 contender for whoever the champion is at that time. Who do I think wins between Andre Ward and Golovkin? Andre Ward. All right, the chat is moving too fast. I can't read that anymore. I'm tired as hell and I'm hungry. I gotta eat or I'm gonna pass out. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Remember what I said about, you know, when I'm going to get back on a more consistent schedule. But please subscribe in the meantime and hang in there. More boxing videos are coming.